I'm James Deemer, the Audio Nomad, and I am here with Omar, the Audio Amigo, Axel, B Media, and Mark, Super Review, to do a DAP challenge shootout. So basically, the setup is we challenged each other to find a digital audio player and either IEMs or headphones for $150 or less, not a penny more. You know, as reviewers, and all of us are reviewers, we get a lot of gear sent to us that we get for free. We're surrounded by all kinds of expensive stuff. And sometimes I think we lose touch with what it actually costs sometimes to get in the hobby, especially as a new person. And so we thought that $150 would be very challenging to, and also like an attainable amount of money that, most people could scrape up $150 and come up with a digital audio player and something to listen to their music on that player. So without further ado, the way this is going to work is we are going to present our combinations to our judge, who is Mark, Super Review. He is going to challenge us to perform some tasks, and then we're going to pitch our final 30-second pitch to the judge, and he's going to render his decision. So without further ado, let's get into it.
Who wants to go first?
Oh, alphabetical. So I guess by channel name, B Media.
No, it'd be Audio Amigo then.
Oh,
or is it Audio Nomad? Yeah, Audio Nomad. Okay,
wow.
No, it's me. It's me.
Wow.
So because A,
Hold on.
okay.
Wait, it turns out the alphabetical B Media is last. That's amazing.
So first thing I did was I went to go find a headphone or an IEM. I wanted a set of used 6XX, but they were just out of our price range. I did find some 599s, and then my job was to go find a DAP. And while I was looking for a DAP on AV Exchange on Reddit, I found these. These are AKG N5005s. These were AKG's flagship IEM back in 2018. They were $1,000 new. They're single DD 4BA, and they came with all of this. It literally came in this bag, and I have the entire package. So I have the Bluetooth wireless cable that came with it, which works, by the way. So I have a wireless solution for it. It came with the balanced cable, which is a 2.5 millimeter balanced cable. It came with the AKG charging cable. It came with the airline adapter, the cleaning tool, and then this little metal plate you can see is actually the tuning filters, because this thing has 4 little nozzle. There you go. You can sort of see them there in the bag. It has 4 nozzles you can choose from to put on the ends of the IEMs that change the sound. So after I jumped on that, because they were $75 and you don't typically see them for under $150, $200-ish. So I just immediately bought those. And that left me with $75 to come up with the DAP. And man, I searched everywhere and I kind of wanted something that could still do streaming. So I went with what I think is the most boring choice. And I went with LG V20 that I have sort of modded the Android on. I've stripped away a lot of the apps and battery things, and I've reduced the Wi-Fi capabilities unless I'm doing streaming, and I threw a fancier skin on there, and I've sort of DAPified it because this has a ESS quad DAC, and LG developed it to be able to power the HD600. So
that's just a phone.
Yes, it's literally just an LG V20.
But it has a headphone jack.
But it has a very powerful headphone jack with 4 ESS DACs. And it has a high impedance mode that activates for high impedance headphones. It also has a battery that you can change in like 5 seconds and an SD card slot. So
the features.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
Name me another DAP that has hot swappable batteries in today's market.
I'm not sure I can.
Yeah. No. So that's what I came up with for $150. My total cost, so the AKGs were $75. I paid $9 for Power Amp on here, which is my solution for both audio and EQ, because Power Amp has a very powerful PEQ implementation. I paid $11 for a 64 gig SD card that takes this whole thing up to 128 gigs, which means with my library, it's about 1,500 songs, which isn't too bad. I did buy ear tips because when you're buying pre-owned IEMs, I don't like assuming that the ear tips you have are clean. So a set of KB07 ear tips, which was $8.99 on Amazon. And then the LG V20, this is the second one I bought because the first one I bought had a headphone jack that didn't work. This was $45. So I was $1.58 under budget.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I am infinitely more nervous about my selections now.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we should just stop right now. That was impressive.
No, mine was a massive headache. I could tell you everything I had to deal with trying to get this to function as DAP as DAP-like as I could. Yeah, it was a headache.
I think it is important to note. So, like, both myself, James, Omar, we have no idea what the other person has bought or done or anything like that. But there was just some random like text messages flying around of just obstacle or headache or whatever. So,
or trash talking.
I do remember a couple frantic text messages from Omar about something that was going on.
So there's a way to get Android 14 on these. And the one that I bought, there's like slightly different models depending on which carrier you have. The first one I bought is like the most difficult one to root. Which is when you get access to the actual Android files and you can rewrite the ROM on the device.
Which one's most difficult? I'm asking I want you to help me out. I bought one of these at the beginning of the year. This is the G7.
Yeah.
Immediately I was like, man, this firmware sucks, and it's the Sprint version and it won't update over the air, and I'm just like, oh man.
So on the original version, it was the T-Mobile version, and that's apparently the most difficult one to root. And I had to go find forum posts from like 4 years ago with files that didn't really exist anymore, but I got it to Android 14 and I put all my hacks and everything on there because there's a guy who wrote a ROM that unlocks like the DAC filters and the other functionality for the ESS DAC in here, and I got it all set up, and I plug in my headphones and only the left side has audio, and then I wiggle the headphone jack. I'm like, oh, the whole phone needs to go back. Wonderful. So that was like 2 days gone of tweaking it. But this one that I have now is running stock Android 8 because one of the things I do like is it has this second screen up here. So you have like a main 1440p screen, and then you have another screen up here. And if I start playing a song, turn the volume down. You have media controls up on the second screen. If I can get it to focus, there you go. Mm-hmm. So with the screen off,
that's cool.
You can use the media controls up here instead of having to turn the whole screen on. Cool. I might not have track forward and track back buttons like an actual DAP, but I can use the second screen with the screen off to do play, pause, track forward, track back. So that's what I came up with. It was a massive pain, and SD card prices are through the roof right now.
Oh yeah.
I felt so bad paying $11 for 64 gigs, but it's all I could get. So yeah, that's what I came up with.
Well, I guess I'm thinking about your setup, and like it sounds like you've made a lot of really good choices in terms of bang for the buck, in terms of performance, and kind of what Axel was talking about. It's like, okay, that's going to be hard to compete against in terms of that. However, you've also invested a lot of time, which is true, I think, of a lot of people that are maybe in this price range, is that they have maybe more time than money. And so that going that route is actually not a bad option. The challenge, however, is I guess the recommendability of your specific setup.
There is a guy on eBay that sells what he calls DAPified LG V20s, but they're $140. So that would be the whole budget. So yeah.
Right.
Don't give too much away now, Mark, because we want the payoff to be at the end. I like this little, like, you're leaving a little, like you've given a good and maybe a
some
negative.
breadcrumbs.
So and I feel like I approach this from the standpoint of if I was shopping for my friend. You know, if I had a friend who's been, doing iPhone and AirPods his whole life, and he wants to get a dedicated audio device and maybe some wired headphones, and he has $150, I'd say, get this. I'll help you fix up your phone for you. And then the thing about using a phone is I have Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, and QoBuzz. And it's like, well, you can wean yourself off of streaming while you build your offline library, which I feel is something that takes a lot longer than people really think about.
Yeah, for sure.
I did do some basic battery life testing. The standby battery life is obscene. It's like 50 something hours with the Wi-Fi and everything else turned off. With music, I couldn't do a full screen off battery life test, but with the screen off, it ate 8% of battery in about 3 hours. So I'm assuming battery life's actually really long with the screen off. With the screen on, however, I played a YouTube video that's like 12 hours long, and I got 5 hours and 45 minutes of solid like YouTube playback.
Okay.
I'm not going to say this out loud, Omar, I'm not saying it out loud, but I hope you get stuck in an airport for 50 hours
I don't mind airports.
and you have to, and your battery dies.
Yeah.
You just said you weren't going to say it out loud.
That's how much I hate
Well,
it.
all I have to do
I
is make
hate
sure I
you
pack
right
some
now.
more of these.
Yeah. Those batteries are probably cheap too.
I looked on Amazon and they're like $10-15 for a decent quality one. So yeah.
Nice.
It wasn't in my budget to get one though. That's the one that came with the previous phone didn't come with a battery, so I had to buy one. And then when I sent it back to the seller, the second phone I bought came with a battery, so I have an extra battery. So
All right.
Well, Audio Nomad.
Okay, I guess I'm up. But it's a hard act to follow. You know, like I'm that comedian in the wings who just witnessed comedy gold. But I'll do my best. So I sort of took a different approach. And I started with the DAP. And, I'm not really a DAP guy. I'm an IEM guy. I've been wearing IEM since the 90s, customs since the early 2000s, and have often just used my phone. I have had a couple DAPs over the years and iPods and things, but I wanted a DAP that had some style and substance. I work a lot of can jams and shows, and when you're behind the table and you see someone rock up and sit down and slap down a really good looking DAP, you're like, okay, this person knows what they're doing. They open their little tip case and they're like, I don't need anything. I don't even want to talk to you. Just hand me the Valhallas and leave me alone. I'm like, okay, that person, I'm impressed. So I wanted the DAP that would hopefully, impress me. And so I ended up with a Pioneer XDP 100R from 2016. And as I'm sure the audience, I'm sure all of you watch Super Reviews videos because they're phenomenal. Maybe the best. He might be the best reviewer on YouTube. I would say probably right up there. But he talks about a Sigma BF camera that is just a beautiful camera. And for me, I actually think that this Pioneer DAP is sort of I would call it the Sigma BF of DAPs. It's sort of a monolith. It's like slab-like, but it has like just a really pretty beveled edge on both sides. You can see it's thin, but it's substantial. It's got a really, really nice wheel. This volume wheel has 160 clicks from 0 to max volume. So finding your perfect volume is really easy to do. Just as a 3.5, the one thing that this one's missing is this, it's supposed to come with this kind of bar. I guess you'd clip you'd clip something to it or whatever, but mine didn't come with the bar. I was really disappointed, but I paid $131.13 for this. One thing you should know about our
that's a good price.
Our rules, taxes didn't count because we all live in different states with different taxes, but shipping did count. And so that $131.13 was including shipping. So power this thing on. So Onkyo, this is actually, believe it or not, it's actually an Onkyo. It's using Onkyo firmware. When you get into the firmware, it says Onkyo something, and I wrote it down. It's the DPX1, which I think was more expensive. It had better DACs. It had dual DACs. It was it was basically this, but nicer. And I thought, oh, I want to get one of those. But honestly, I couldn't find one of those. I couldn't find an Astel and Kern for 100, under 150 shipped. So I ended up with this, and it's got dual SD slots that will give you up to 480 gigabytes of space. It has something I wrote it down. I don't know what it is. Not a whole lot of internal storage, but because I'm not really a DAP guy. I don't have a lot of music. I used to. I don't know where it is. It's on a hard drive in a drawer somewhere or something. I put a few different albums and some different things on the internal drive, and I'm using that now. It does run Android, but The big bummer is it's an old version of what?
Which version is it?
Mine came with, I think it's 6. Yours is on 6.
6, because you called it like lollipop, or what did you call
something
it?
like that, yeah. I think it was lollipop or ice cream sandwich, something like that, yeah.
Something like that. But whatever it is, it's not upgradable. Like, and I looked everywhere for some bootstrap uploader thing to make this something that I could use so I could stream with it, because this did in its day stream Tidal and Qobuz and all the things, but unfortunately it doesn't work. So I view it as a plus, because now it's just a player. I'm not distracted by, you know, looking for things or seeing announcements or any of the other bells and whistles. This thing just plays music, and truthfully, I think it sounds pretty good. It has a really fun equalizer, which took me a long time to figure out how to use, but it's an 11-band EQ, and it's graphical EQ, not parametric EQ. But what's interesting is you can slide the frequency responses left or right. So not only can you change the amplitude, but you can, you know, if you want to make the 500 hertz, 530 hertz and -1 dB, you can do that, which is kind of fun. So it does have a lot of tunability.
It's almost parametric. It just lacks the Q value.
It lacks the Q value, exactly. But otherwise it's almost parametric. I think it sounds pretty good. You know, maybe I'm not the best judge of sound quality between DAPs, but truthfully, it works pretty well. The battery life is, I think it's around 8 hours. I used it on a flight from Vienna recently back to Boston, and it lasted the whole time. I don't think it would have lasted a whole lot longer than that, but it lasted that long. And when the screen is off, you know, like you can only use the buttons. So unlike my phone, where I feel like I'm always bumping settings, you know, it's just not happening with this. So $131.13. I didn't have a whole lot of money left for in-ear monitors. Yep. So big surprise, this is what I got, the ones I'm wearing now. They're the Tangzu Wan'er Red Lions, which retail for 23, but I had a $5 Linsol coupon, and I didn't get it because I work for Linsol. I swear to God, I
went into the back end and I changed the price.
This is all legit. No one's gonna believe me, but it is true. So it brought the price down to $18. So my total was $149.13.
Beautiful.
Now, I in the interest of absolute full disclosure, I was in China when I picked these up. So I said, you don't have to ship, you can ship them to the office and I'll pick them up from the warehouse ships them to the office. I'm like, what's the shipping price? And they're like, oh, it's free because this is China. So, and there's no tax because it's also China. So, or at least there wasn't any for me because I'm not in the state of Maine where it's like 5.5%. So I got them tax free for a legit just 18 bucks. The reason I got these is because I think they sound great for 23 bucks. It's a great sounding set. The accessories that this comes with are amazing. I'm gonna start with the ear tips. You know, this thing comes with like—
the ear tips are the hair
honestly,
liner.
I think it comes with like $23 worth of ear tips. I'm using some of them, but they're like the, you know, nice wide bore, grippy, like these things are sweet. The cable is pretty good. And then it comes with a carrying case. Look at this, you know, I mean, for the price, you get this nice little rubberized, like kind of coin style.
It's a fantastic starter kit IEM because it comes with everything you need in the box to just get going. Case, good ear tips, everything.
Now I'm feeling bad about wishing you were stuck in an airport. Well, you're being so nice to me,
when you
and I was
pulled
just
out
so
that
mean.
DAP, when you pulled out that DAP, there was a guy on Reddit, I want to say 3 weeks ago, who has the Onkyo version of that DAP. And he posted and he said, guys, I have this, I really like it. Am I missing anything from upgrading to a more modern device? I told him no, because he's got two 512 gig SD cards with his music loaded on there. He's listening on 3.5. It powers everything he has. He doesn't stream and he loves the user interface. I'm like, just keep what you've got, keep it going. I said, look into maybe how to change the battery someday, but like if you have something you love, keep using it. It's clearly still good. I told him just keep using it. It's fantastic.
Well, I will say I was at CanJam Singapore with this. I had just gotten it, and I wanted to test my hypothesis, so I rocked up to a table and I slapped it down. And the guy behind the table, I swear to God, this is the craziest thing. He's like, I have to look over because I can't remember what it's called, Pioneer XDP 100R. And I'm like, what?
Whoa.
And then he pulls one out of his pocket and holds it up. I'm like, yes.
Wow.
So we were Pioneer buddies, and he's the only person that knows that I've been around who knew what it was.
That's super cool.
That was really like a really glorious moment.
Was that your first draw?
It was the very first draw. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I know.
Awesome.
Crazy.
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
It was wild. I was at the table. The guy who makes the fancy cables, he's British or Irish, and they're on my mod house tungsten somewhere, and he's making headphones now.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Viking Weave?
Viking Weave. So Viking Weave's making these crazy 2-driver glass
The drop near.
headphones, 2
They sound
drivers per
awesome.
side. They do sound awesome. And then there was a guy just next to him. I don't even know what he was, and that's the guy who saw my DAP off in the distance. So
That's super cool.
anyway.
So I guess a question I have is, you said it was Android 6 something. Does it connect to the Google Play Store?
No, I think it just keeps giving me errors.
Okay. Well, so Omar pulled the right move and installed PowerAmp. As a fellow DAP user, I guess Omar knows, but as a non-DAP user, you haven't figured out PowerAmp is the way to go. So I'm curious if it's possible to get PowerAmp on that thing. Like maybe you could sideload it,
I was
or
gonna say.
maybe like the Amazon. I don't know. Does Amazon still have like their own Android app store, and maybe they sell through that? That might work without Google. I don't know, but that would be something I would be looking for personally. Is put PowerAmp.
I'll try.
I guess Axel, what's your setup?
So then I'll say overall, I have been pretty happy with my little setup. Starting off with the ear tips, the nice HDK CO4 liquid silicone tips. These are literally my favorite tips. I knew I was going to love them. I use these on my daily drivers, the $1,000 sets, the $50 sets. I use them on quite a bit of everything. And then as for the Kafine Clean SV, these are going to be a mixed bag. I think for some people, if you are somebody who is a little bit more treble sensitive, these might not be for you. I definitely found as Mark pulls up, that it's a bit peaky in the treble. They do have the black nozzles, which I have on there right now, do help to boost the bass a little bit and kind of roll off ear gain. So I would say it gives you kind of your smoothest presentation. But even with that, there was still definitely some moments where I'm just like, those cymbals, those high-pitched piano keys, bells, chimes, things like that were definitely getting to be a little bit too spicy for me. But I think probably the biggest issue that I ran into was, unfortunately, I think with this guy, is that it's not very clean of a source. It's not a very competent sounding device, because so I've noticed that with this and just the whatever amp and DAC setup they have in here, it sounds more low resolution. The bass is definitely more rolled off, and then with an IEM like the SV, this can also then accentuate some of those more piercing personality traits to it. So there were definitely songs playing on this where I could not really listen to them with the Kafine Clean SV. And I was doing a little bit of back and forth between this little guy and just a little Fosse DS3. And I'm like, okay, when I switch from the DAP to this just running off my phone, I notice all right, drum impacts are a little bit tighter, things tend to kick a little bit harder, and treble doesn't bother me nearly as much. So I'm like, okay, this is really cool, but it's not the most competent DAP player out there. It definitely accentuates some annoying traits.
Yeah. That seems very believable to me. So I guess maybe like cards on the table, like I'm generally the type of person that doesn't hear a significant difference between DAPs, but I have had the experience with, especially in the budget range, like there are absolutely some sources that have some issues. So like I recently reviewed, I forget, what was it called? The Any Oasis MP3 player, which was really popular and it was cool, but it had like 20 dB of bass roll off at 20 hertz. And it had something like, I forget, Omar, you actually, I think, helped me measure that.
We were there. Yeah, it has like 120 something ohms of output impedance.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Which will change the sound of your earphones.
Yeah, no kidding. It's like you're running some OTL tubes right there.
That was a fun day. I taught Mark. It's if you have a multimeter, by the way, Axel, it's like $3 worth of gear if you want to learn how to measure output impedance. I got you.
Gotcha. And Mark, I generally share that sentiment with you, because like I have a ton of portable DAC amps. I've got my Shanling MT7, which is a $1,200 DAP, my Questal Sigma, all this really like high price stuff. And like, there's really not much of a sound difference between like those and this, which is $100. But yeah, there was, and then which kind of made it all the more jarring, which then going to this and I'm just like, oh, that is different. Okay.
I feel like I start to think that I'm the blind one, and then I get to something that's truly bad. And it's like, oh, okay. It's just, it's like, okay, I'm not going crazy. It's just like, I've just been blessed with good devices. Is what it ends up being.
Yeah, they do exist.
My combo might not be the most user-friendly. You do have to know your way around Android debug bridge and have a lot of patience to get things done. But I think if you can do that, you have a very fast, capable device that can run basically everything with a swappable battery. And if you go looking, you can find some amazing deals on older flagship gear. Last thing I'll say is, yes, everyone now has Power Amp, but I'm the only one that budgeted the $9 that the app costs. So everyone else is only going to be able to use it for about 3 days.
Touche.
All right, I'll go next. So, I wanted to put my money into the DAP because when I spend a lot of time at shows, and what I've noticed is, people, they'll just come and go with IEMs like crazy because they just kind of want to keep trying new things. So I thought for $150, I'm gonna put almost all the money into a really nice DAP that feels good, sounds good, is well built. It's going to last a long time. And then if I want to upgrade or change my in-ear monitors, that's easy to do. But I feel like this is going to be around, even though it's old, it's still going to last and sound good while it's doing it.
Makes sense.
One thing I didn't tell you about this DAP is I was in Vienna at the Vienna High End a couple weeks ago, and Rubin, the producer, stopped by the booth and we were chatting, and he wanted to try some of our IEMs. And I asked if he wanted to use his phone. He's like, well, do you have a DAP? And I'm like, well, of course. And so I whipped out my 10-year-old DAP, and he's like, man, that thing's cool. Does it have a speaker? And I'm like, it does have a speaker. He's like, wow, what's that called? And like his assistant wrote it down, or his buddy, maybe not really his assistant, the guy that was like hanging with him. So that was kind of fun, and he used it, and there was some traffic on here, and he listened to traffic with the Valhallas, and I think he had a grand old time. So, there's a little provenance with this now, which I think is kind of fun because
that is cool.
Rubin is a hero of mine. So,
all right. So mine is the frictionless consumerism type of a go-to, and I think for somebody who doesn't know maybe what exactly they're going to want, what exactly they're going to go for, they don't want to tinker, I think mine's the clear winner, just saying. But it's not a very hi-fi audio experience. I would definitely maybe put my money into something just like the little Fio players instead of going that direction. But I don't know, mine's frictionless. It's plug and play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think honestly, like that is a big consideration, because like I wouldn't. No offense, Omar, I wouldn't recommend your setup to anybody, but it was I understand, like, it's possibly, the best setup here, which is the interesting dichotomy there.
It requires the most like specialized knowledge. You have to be willing to go online and Google, like, how do I like root my device? How do I install Android Debug Bridge? How do I do this? How do I do that? And I acknowledge a lot of people just aren't gonna want to do that. I'm just that type of person. I'd rather take something old that's broken and like buy parts and fix it up than have a turnkey solution. Also, it gets you like personally attached to the device. It's just how I am as a person, I guess.
Yeah.
You're a tinkerer.
Average person off the street, I would never tell them go buy an LG V20 and hack newer Android onto it. Yeah, I still think your DAP is way nicer though, James. Yours is so cool.
It is really
We'll
cool.
see if it lasts. Yeah.
This is actually a question I have for you, Axel. Does your player have a play pause button, or is it just volume controls?
It's just volume.
So from my perspective, one of the big reasons I love using DAPs, and I'm a big DAP guy, is I like having buttons. I like being able to control things without having to take the device either out of my pocket or turn it on and like navigate to the right screen. I just like being able to operate it. So I think both Omar and Axel, both of your players, don't have an external play button, which makes me lean really strongly actually toward the Pioneer, which is kind of interesting. That would not have been my first choice, but I think as far as like DAP choice, that's a pretty good pickup for, you said it was
$131.13.
And it has a knob. Volume knobs are the greatest.
Does have
Got buttons on this side and a volume knob on this side, yeah.
And it's not going to be the most powerful DAP. It doesn't have the latest version of Android, but if it runs PowerAmp, that runs pretty well. I don't know how well it runs on that device particularly, but it typically runs on pretty older devices, no problem. Whereas things like Spotify and Apple Music, like they're going to be probably not very good, even if you could install them on that device. But PowerAmp's probably fine. And then I guess I'm also thinking, Axel, your player, even if it does have bass roll off, like if it had high output impedance, I wouldn't be too worried about it with the clean. That's probably not affected by it because there's no like circuitry or anything inside there. So yeah, it's probably fine, but there might still be bass roll off. It's what it kind of sounds like you're describing. But that you actually might be able to make up for with EQ if you installed like a system-wide EQ. Maybe you could bring it back. Because it's Android, so you should be able to do that. Or even just running PowerAmp. PowerAmp has a pretty good EQ in it as well.
Yeah.
Out of 5 stars, Audio Amigo setup, I'd probably give 3 out of 5. I think it is, again, an undeniably powerful, effective system. However, it doesn't have a play pause button, which is a little bit of a bummer. I would probably just end up using my phone personally if I didn't have, although actually no, because I use an iPhone and putting my own music on an iPhone sucks. So I would actually prefer what you have to using my iPhone. Yeah. So, and it's good setup. And the IEM looks interesting. I haven't heard it myself, so I can't say if I'd like it, but I guess I'll honestly, maybe I'll just say up front, like I feel like all of the IEMs are, I don't see a strong winner there. Like they're all solid IEMs. And I would be happy with any of them. But I think it mostly comes down then to kind of like the audio player and the setup. So then Axel, I think your player on paper sounds really interesting. An $80 Android player. I think it looks nice. I looked up the pictures. It looks cool. I'm actually really interested to get one myself. The way that you described the sound, however, is a little bit of a bummer.
It's a little concerning.
And I think for me, it's a lot concerning, just given my experience with the NE Oasis. And maybe the NE Oasis is actually much worse, and I'm unfairly judging your player that I haven't heard yet. But given that, that might be a 2 out of 5 for me. I think it's the most promising one. Like that is the one that and I also think there's a lot to what you said, like being able to have something you could actually recommend to people. You could say, hey, buy this, and just go on Amazon and replace it the next day if it broke or something like that. I think that's actually huge.
I have no return policy with anything I bought.
Yeah, exactly.
I would agree with that. Omar and I put a lot of work into looking for our stuff, and if we didn't know what we were looking for already, it would have been tough.
And then James, the Pioneer. I actually wonder if my buddy has that player, because for a while he had a Pioneer player with like an external amp on top of it, which was always cool looking, but I never actually played around with it too much. So the volume knob is nice, but I think for me the biggest differentiator there is that I pretty sure you have play pause buttons and you have track skipping buttons and you've got a speaker that Rick Rubin is really into. So I think
See, I've got a little speaker right there. Sounds quite bad, but it's there.
You would also have impressed Rick Rubin.
I would not have impressed Rick Rubin.
Your phone doesn't have a speaker?
What? No, it has a speaker. It has a speaker, but it's not. It actually has stereo speakers when you're doing YouTube. It has the whole left and right thing. But but it's not a player, so it would not have impressed Rick Rubin. Yeah, he's just like, someone brought his phone. He can just get out of here.
Yeah. So. Yeah, James, I think out of 5 stars, I'd rate your setup 4 out of 5. That's a solid little setup. I would be happy with that setup. I would walk around and I would load it up with my music, and I would be perfectly happy with a Pioneer and a Tangzu. So
I think I would be too, honestly. Yeah.
Well, now that I have the 4 out of 5, one thing I forgot that I would call a negative is it is a micro USB, which is sort of a bummer,
Adapters are like $2. You're good.
That's not too bad. I would still take it.
So, Mark, what if you could build your dream kit for 150 or less? What would you choose?
I think it would be this, which is, and I think both of these things are actually available on Linsole, which I'll note most of your guys' stuff is not available on Linsole.
No.
But this is the Hibi R1. So it's not an Android-based player. So in a lot of ways, it's worse than what you guys chose. But it's just a competent little player that sounds pretty nice, and I can load all my music on it. It's around $85. This is the one that, like, a lot of people have been into the Snow Sky Echo and the Any Oasis and stuff like that, because it's kind of cool, trendy, inexpensive audio players. This is the thing I've been trying to steer people toward instead. It's like, this actually sounds good. It's actually pretty usable. It has a touch screen, and it's got play
and they
pause
come in
buttons.
different colors, so you can personalize the color to your own style. Yep.
You got the orange one?
I got the orange one. Yep.
Nice.
And it has a strap.
Yeah, it comes with a strap. Yep.
And then I think my IEM of choice would probably be the Moondrop Lan.
Tanchim.
The original Moondrop.
Oh, Moondrop. What is that?
The Lan.
The Moondrop what?
LAN.
Lan.
This is around $40-$45. And so I think these two combined would fit into the budget.
Yeah, just under. Because 90 for the R1 and then 45 for the Lan. Yeah, you do it. Yeah. You have some left over for some ear tips.
That gives me $10 or a handful of bucks to throw at Men I Trust and download all their music, which they make available for free on Bandcamp. So you can download as much as you wanted for however much you wanted to throw them. So there you go. I have a Hibi R1 loaded up with Men I Trust.
5 out of 5 stars.
I agree.
5.
Well, thanks everyone for participating. This was a lot of fun.
I agree.
Yeah.
And Mark, thank you for judging. We really appreciate your time. And I guess I'd say to the audience, if you have any comments about your own or experience or stories with your own budget kits, put them in the comments and let us know if you like this challenge idea and you want to see more interesting challenges, because this is a format that I think could be a lot of fun, and I just love hanging with my buddies and talking audio. This video is brought to you by Linsole.com. Linsole sells IEMs, headphones, amplifiers, digital to analog converters, cables, really just about anything you could want for personal hi-fi or even home hi-fi. Their prices are great, the quality is exceptional, and their customer service is really second to none. Check them out in the link below.